Is that Frankie?
Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Did the Dream Boys ever do any cover versions? Did you ever do any Frankie Valli?
No, we used to do. I think that was at that period. We went from being a sort of punk band to being a kind of novelty band, a kind of modern sort of Barron Knights, if you like. And it was at that period they used to do. There was they used to have something on 45.
Stars on 45.
So we used to do Rolf on 45, which was a disco beat with various Rolf Harris songs.
Oh, earlier I said I wish I'd seen that.
You started reconsider.
Glad I never did. Peter Capaldi is the voice you're listening to alongside me and Andy. He's in the thick of it. It's on BBC Two at 10:10 this evening. It's a fabulous, smart, grown-up, sophisticated, but very, very funny comedy. He plays Malcolm Tucker. Do you get people who recognise you from the show? I imagine you get a fairly classy audience. But do they want you to do a bit of swearing? Do they want you to do a Malcolm Tucker impersonation? Is there a catchphrase they throw at you?
The cat one. I don't know if I can say it.
Probably can't say it, but can you allude to it? We can't beep it out.
Okay.
I could go beep over it, but that is...
people come up and ask me to tell them to beep off.
They want you to say that. They want you, and do you oblige?
And often I mean it. And I'm sure, I'm sure it'd be nicer to have, I don't believe it, or you are awful, but that's not the way the cards have fallen for me. Or you are awful. Yeah.
I don't mean this to sound the wrong way, but I'm looking forward to your obituary, because it's going to be interesting to see what they put at the top of the page.
Well, I thought, maybe no, because the show's so popular. When I die, they might have, at the BAFTAs, when they have that little melancholic
where you have to stand there looking up at the screen, everyone's there. As Peter Cook used to say, trying to get the onion out so you can get the cheers going.
But they run those little bits of those we have lost.
Yeah.
And usually it's a slowed down kind of moment from there, and they play some set. But with me, if you can lip read, I'll be talking about
you in full rank.
Yeah, doing lubricated horse organs.
Yeah. Well, let's not wish the day too soon, but when it comes, you'll go knowing there's a silver lining for the rest of us. Politicians, what do they make of the show? Do you ever hear back from them? I imagine some are quite flattered by the portrayal of the reality of what they live with.
I actually find politicians quite egotistical, I have to say. I tend to sort of keep away from them because I was quite... when the show first came out, we were sort of plunged into a kind of... Well, they were the only people who watched it, I think. And in fact, we had this wonderful experience when we made the film. We actually shot some of it in Downing Street, and we were taken in and shown around the press office and all that. And obviously the press officers at Downing Street are, as I say, the majority of the audience, so it was like a kind of Star Trek convention for them. I was like kind of Mr. Spock for them. I got their photographs taken with me. And then there was a lift we went, and it was clearly upstairs. Upstairs was kind of quite like somebody's flat and kind of a nice bit of Islington. But the lift, obviously, you hoped went down to a kind of Bourne conspiracy type MI5
sort of bunker,
kind of thing. Bunker
you know what? They're not that well organised. They're not that well organised. Yeah, politicians aren't. Governments aren't. Businesses are. Yeah, you go to one of the big corporations. I'm sure you go underneath. They've got vats where they're making up. They're building a new breed of human. But
the funny thing is, we went to the Channel 4 Comedy Awards, the Channel 4 Politics Awards, which is just
same thing, really.
It's the same thing. But that's what I was going to say. It's the same thing, except it's full of politicians, and it's worse than the Comedy Awards. It's noisier, it's more aggressive, they get drunker. They're just not funny.
That's a depressing thought.
But you know what it's like, because as the evening wears on, the room fills up with losers.
Yeah.
There's just more and more losers, and then more and more
they get more and more drunk, and therefore they get more and more honest, it seems.
They've got the security codes.
Well, going something like that, or being on the show, do you have to keep your own politics somewhat guarded so that it seems fair, so it seems even-handed, or are you quite open about the way you kind of...
I'm an old-fashioned kind of Labour left-wing sort of person. I'm just kind of...
But how do you square that with the not so left-wing New Labour movement?
No, well, I don't have anything to do with anybody. Publicly.
So you're above it, well, not above it, but certainly away from it.
Yeah, I don't want to. People have asked me to do things as Malcolm, and I think, well, you just get mugged, really. Yeah. You're just being used to help somebody sell either a product or their idea, and I just never wanted to be part of that. I think it's better to keep away from it. I also, I think a character like that is best kept in that world on TV.
Well, it makes it feel more real, of course. It gives it the benefit of not being diluted.
Yeah. Alistair Campbell asked me to interview him.
You see, this is a weird, because obviously when you first appeared in that character, people thought this is Campbell.
Yeah.
That was the immediate leap that people made, and I guess there's quite a lot of him, or our perception of him, in the character.
Yeah, but if you think back, I don't know what people knew about him before this character. So I don't know whether this character has provided an idea of what he is.
I think it was kind of reported that he was bullish and aggressive, but it was more, you had to read between the lines a little bit to get that feeling, I think.
Yeah,
And certainly
yeah.
this has sort of given him a cachet and a profile that he didn't have before. So you're responsible for giving him a career after politics.
But we went this same award ceremony I went to. I'd always avoided him, but and look, I sat down at the table and there was nameplates there, and my name was there, and next to me was Alistair Campbell.
Someone thought that was a funny
Somebody
thing to
thought
do.
that was the
Yeah,
funniest
hilarious
thing
thing
ever.
to do.
And so then he turns up and he sits, and of course my greatest fear. He was so charming.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. He absolutely had me in the palm of his hand.
It's
and,
awful, isn't it?
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and he sat there and he insulted everyone all night. It was actually a great key into playing Malcolm.
How to play the character, yeah.
Yeah, because it was just a constant barrage of not particularly funny or witty.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
non-stop.
repartee, but non-stop, childish.
I've met him, and one thing I noticed was, A, he believes in himself.
Yeah.
He believes in himself, but B, he kind of doesn't really listen to or take on board anything going on around him.
Yeah.
So you can say something to him, which for many people would perhaps shake them a little bit. It's
Yeah.
almost like it wasn't said.
Yeah.
He hasn't sort of heard it, and I guess you need that level of confidence or thick-skinnedness
Yes.
to survive in politics.
Yeah. But he said to me that, I asked him what he thought politics was like now, and he said, boring. He said, because there's nobody like me in it.
Oh, he's-
meaning himself.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought there was something in that,
Yeah.
you know, because he's a kind of spectacular kind of character. And Malcolm's a bit of a kind of Dickensian sort of wild
But we've got
character.
the bristling excitement that Mandelson provides. I mean, he's like a young Sylvester Stallone.
No, but that's a kind of more, you know, he's got a kind of Machiavellian
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
more kind of Medici.
Good luck to him, though. God bless them all. Okay, let's put some more music on. We'll chat to Peter Capaldi some more after this.